This video is sponsored by Friendly TV. With over 40 channels, many of them showing your favorite classic TV shows, Friendly TV is the low-cost streaming service for those of us who remember when television was truly special. I've added a link to Friendly TV in the description section of this video. When you use it to try it out free for 7 days, you will also be supporting this channel. I have been meaning to publish a video about Maureen Flannigan for quite some time now. During the late 80s, Maureen, along with Donna Pescow, starred in a first-run syndicated sitcom called Out of This World. This is one of those shows that if you know, then you know. It's really pretty darn special. Why? Well, because critics absolutely hated the show with a passion, many of them even going as far as to say it was the worst sitcom ever. And I guess if I were to apply an extremely critical eye to the program, I might have a few suggestions to make. But all in all, I found this show to be an absolutely delightful way to spend 30 minutes each week. I thought the entire cast was really quite terrific, along with Maureen as Evie Ethel Garland and Donna as her mother, Donna. You had Joe Alaskey as a fan favorite, Uncle Beano, who midway through the show's final season pulled a Chuck Cunningham and just disappeared. And then there was Doug McClure as Kyle Applegate, the town's mayor, not the brightest of fellers, much like a certain deputy from Mayberry. Kyle loved writing out citations and assessing fines for even the smallest of offenses. But still, deep down, much like Barney Fife, he was also kind and well-meaning. But getting back to Maureen and Donna, these two actors really elevated the program. Along with Burt Reynolds, of course, who was never seen but often heard throughout the show's run as Evie's humanoid-looking alien father, Troy, who came from the planet Antares Prime. He was an astronaut that had crash-landed on Earth, and wouldn't you know it, fell head over heels in love with Angie, Donna, and the two of them got married. At some point after Evie's birth, Troy was commanded to return to his home planet to fight in some sort of intergalactic war. Over the course of the show's 4 fun-filled seasons, we were able to witness Evie discovering her many magical powers that came from being part alien herself, including the ability to stop time, as well as levitate things, invisibility, and even teleportation. The show had a ton of great guest stars, including Mr. T, Norman Fell, Susan Anton, and even Mrs. Brady herself, Florence Henderson. After Out of This World ended, Maureen first took her talents to the big screen, starring in a flick called Teenage Bonnie and Klepto Clyde. I remember this movie well for a number of reasons. First and foremost, hey, that's a pre-Party of Five Scott Wolf there starring alongside Maureen. Additionally, this was filmed in my home state of Utah. And lastly, I remember reading that this film originally earned an NC-17 rating before being edited to get a more favorable R rating. Now, with all that said, I can't say that I've seen this movie, which was released in 1993. It's another one to add to the list. A few years later, in 1998, it looked like Maureen had struck gold again with a new television series called Push. Sadly, I believe only a couple of episodes ever aired before the network gave it the axe. However, a member of the production crew on that show was also working at the time on a much more successful program called Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and he told Maureen that there was an upcoming episode that she would be perfect for. That episode was called Covenant, and in it Maureen played a pregnant cult member who gave birth to the group's first child. Despite the setback with Push, Maureen remained resilient and landed a recurring role on the dramatic series Seventh Heaven, where she played Shanna Sullivan for 22 episodes across seasons 3, 4, and 6. After Seventh Heaven, Maureen appeared on TV shows like Boston Public, ER, and Law & Order Special Victims Unit. However, at some point, Maureen started to notice that the job offers were becoming less frequent, and she was suddenly forced to come to terms with the fact that she might actually need to do other things to pay the bills. Because of that, Maureen stepped behind the scenes and became a production assistant on various reality shows. And you know what? It did pay the bills. But she was the first to admit that there was still something missing. She always had felt like she was a storyteller. She enjoyed being part of the process of exposing people to new ideas and perspectives. And because of that, she decided to go back to school and was determined to hone the skills necessary to be more impactful as an artist, rather than someone simply shepherding around a bunch of entitled reality show TV stars whose lives are, to put it bluntly, a big mess. There are a couple of really great interviews with Maureen right here on YouTube that I'd highly recommend. The first of which is one by Neil Fogelman that happened at the time of publishing this video just a few weeks ago. During that interview, Maureen talks about her work on the new documentary called A Shot in the Arm that takes a look at recent outbreaks of measles, a disease that at one point we believed had been entirely eradicated. Sadly, this is no longer the case. However, the highlight of Maureen's work as a documentarian, if you ask me, has got to be her short film called Lizzie the Cashier. It's all about her cousin who has been a grocery store clerk for over 20 years. This video is where Maureen really demonstrates her skills as a storyteller and a filmmaker. I absolutely loved it. The other interview here on YouTube, while published only about a year ago, is actually from quite a few years ago. Even though it's a bit dated, it's still worth a listen if you are a fan of Maureen's or the TV show Out of This World. I'll put a link to both interviews, plus the short film Lizzie the Cashier, in the description section of this video. So here's what I love about Maureen. She's one of those hard-working actors, now filmmakers, who found steady work for decades but never ever let it go to her head. Never. She remained grounded in the reality of who and what she really was, which is something of a rarity these days. We've all seen it time and time again. An actor or celebrity of some sort who gets a starring role on a TV show or some big project, and then his or her ego goes right through the roof. That never happened with Maureen. And even though her TV show was called Out of This World, she kept her feet planted firmly on the ground and never demanded to be treated better than anyone else. I wish I could say that she's not unique, but I think many of you would agree with me that this special lady is, sadly, the exception to the rule. Don't get me wrong, she's not the only one, but in the dog-eat-dog world of Hollywood, the good ones aren't always easy to find. Here's a fun little pick. I don't think I mentioned Papa Cunningham when I was talking about guest stars earlier. Man, what a great actor that guy was. Rest in peace, Tom Bosley. What do you think about taking in a couple of quick vintage commercials before we go? You okay with that? Alright, let's go.
Never turn your back on garbage gremlins when they're in a bargain kitchen bag. Bargain bags can invite disaster. Don't get mad, get glad. Glad kitchen bags have 3 plies of Stress Flex plastic to resist tears and punctures. 3 plies to resist leaks. Glad kitchen bags.
Oh.
Don't get mad, get glad.
Beep, beep, pop, pop, kiss, kiss, bite. Pillsbury, microwave, sing, sing, light. Love it from the oven. Pillsbury, we're warm, we're hot. Beep, beep, pop, pop. Pillsbury is oh so warm. Pillsbury is hot. Beep, beep, pop, pop, yum, yum, crunch. Now I love it from every oven you've got. Giggle, giggle, beep, beep.
Pucker
because Mickey's in love on We Got It Made.
He is the sweetest guy and the best kisser.
But David and Jay think Mr. Right is doing her wrong.
This guy is a rat. He's gonna break her heart.
Call it a hunch or call it woman's intuition.
How did I let you talk me into this, Jay? Jane.
Sisters unite.
$100 says I can pick up the next woman that walks into this bar.
We Got It Made.
Prime time starts at 7:30 Friday.
Now it's your turn. Please share your memories of Maureen and Out of This World in the comments section. And while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I would be honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and mostly TV from decades gone by. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so very much for watching. Oh, and one more thing. Huge thanks to all my supporting channel members. Those are folks who have gone above and beyond and clicked on that little join button below the screen there. Aside from getting access to exclusive members-only videos and live streams, they get a chance to watch all of my videos ahead of time, before they're actually published to YouTube. But most of all, they get my complete and total appreciation. Thanks to each one of them for their support of this channel.